All right. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Love and Business with myself, Crystal Robinson, and my awesome husband, Lemoyne Robinson.
What's up?
Hello.
Oh, we lost you on Sam. We lost you.
All
Let's
right,
see.
we
There
good
we
We
go.
now?
back?
Yeah,
Are
yeah,
we
yeah,
back?
yeah. Good,
All
good.
right,
All
let me
right,
let me
cool.
redo that. Hey, what's good, good people?
What's
What's going
going
on,
on?
man?
How you guys doing?
Absolutely. We are
Good.
good. We're here now for our third episode of Love and Business, where we're here to help couples to dominate in both love and business. And we have a awesome couple on with us tonight. We got Kurt and Tashina Anderson with us tonight. So as everybody is joining on, let's see if we could get yes. As our people are showing up, they know what to do. We need you to hashtag live and then tell us where you're joining us from tonight so we can know where you guys are joining us from, and go ahead and drop any questions that you're going to have in the chat so we can just go ahead and get those set up for us tonight. But I don't want to take too much time teeing everything up tonight. I want to get like right off into this conversation, but before I do, I want to say a strong and sincere thank you to Kurt and Tashina. I know our audience knows that we're busy people, but listen,
Yeah, yeah.
these two over here. I mean, first of all, I just want to literally give this heartfelt thank you. I to Shayna, listen, I'm telling you, you set me up for some success and didn't even know it. Do you hear me?
Oh, thank you.
My husband can probably attest to it, but when we first met you guys, ooh, what was it now? This was like 2013, 14,
Yeah.
something like that.
Probably somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, probably like a decade ago. That don't even seem like y'all not even aging. This is
No,
crazy.
we're really not. Like for real. Yeah.
But literally, man, a decade ago, when I saw you standing on this stage talking to well over 10,000 people,
Mm.
I was just like, man, if this lady can go from being a biology teacher to a multimillionaire, I know I could take this little chemistry degree and go and do something big and bad. You know what I'm saying? So man, I mean, I've just been inspired since day one. Watching you guys, and then of course, watching Kurt, come along and just assist you, on the journey that you were already on. I'm just like, man, Lemoyne, I think we can do this. So you guys didn't even know that we were sitting out there as little specks, in the
Absolutely.
audience at the time, watching you guys. I'm talking about dominate the stage.
Awesome.
But you really did set the tone for what it was that we wanted to do, and you gave us a really good example, to look after. So I just want to say thank you. I know you didn't know that, but I just want to say thank you to the both of you guys for setting
Absolutely.
that example for us years ago. When we took a journey into entrepreneurship, not knowing where that was going to end.
Not
Um,
at all. And I'll say this too. These first few episodes are dedicated to those individuals that we feel like inspired us, right? To get on the journey, to stay on the journey, and to press hard. I tried to get my arms to look like Kurt's, but it just didn't happen. So I decided to just try to build a money so it might look like Kurt's, right?
Keep lifting your wallet out your pocket, you get stronger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, you got a heavy wallet, bro. I know you listen more than that.
So, but no, like seriously, I echo exactly what Crystal said. We just want to try to inspire or try to let people know, hey, we just followed the process. We just followed the process. We had a desire to do something different, and I'm sure most people's journey are similar, right? You have a desire to do something as a biology teacher, as a promoter, or party promoter, or whatnot, and you did it. You did it, and you did it together. Combining it. So I just want to again echo what Crystal said and say
Absolutely.
thanks for taking the time to share not only with us, because I'm going to be taking notes and mentally blocking some of these things so I can capture it, but also to the viewers.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Um,
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. You're welcome. That.
Yeah. And so what we're gonna attempt to do is, kind of walk through you guys' journey. Obviously, I know you guys are a blended family now, but maybe we can kind of start with Tashina and maybe you can kind of talk about what you did, prior to becoming an entrepreneur. We'll do the same thing for Kurt, and then we're also going to be interested to know how did you guys cross paths at some point in life, so we can see how you guys got together. So, Tashina, if you don't mind, maybe introducing to the audience like what you did prior to becoming an entrepreneur, and what inspired you to do that.
Yeah, sure. So hello, everyone. I started off, we both grew up in Baltimore, Maryland.
Baltimore.
Him more like in the inner city than myself. So
You saying he from the hood? That's what you
yeah.
Didn't feel like it back then.
So his
like
life story is a little bit different than mine, but similar in a lot of ways. And for me, after school, I wanted to journey into entrepreneurship. So after graduating from the University of Maryland, College Park, I was a teacher. I went from being a teacher to working in corporate America. And then I went into the industry of direct sales. It didn't take long before I started having success. I wound up quitting my job within the first 7 months of being in business. And then being the number one income earner in the entire company, made millions of dollars, had a lot of success. I got married, divorced, and then Kurt and I met back up again. And I guess we'll tell our story a little bit later, but I had a lot of success in direct sales. I went from direct sales to wanting to help people with their finances. So I started my own business where now I coach and teach people money management, stocks, trading, and I built a whole community around that. So that's where I am today. Really excited about it. We raise our kids together, we run businesses together, and it's been a long journey, but one that I'm extremely proud of.
Absolutely.
You,
Kurt,
I got a
so you from the hood to millions. Tell us about it.
Man, listen, I am from East Baltimore, Maryland. Absolutely proud as they come. All right, let me let you know. And I know it's the hood, but it didn't feel like it growing up. I'm gonna be real with you. I had a ball growing up. I never had.
Yeah.
I mean, when you grow up in it, you don't feel bad. If you had to move into it, maybe it might be different.
Different
When
situation.
you grow up in it, you don't know nothing else. So I'm blessed. I think a couple of things that I got out of that was, I grew up quick. Right, you learn how to protect. You learn how to survive pretty quick. Not knowing it was quick, just that's how we were doing it. Was able to be gifted, blessed athletically, so I was able to go to school and wrestle in college. So I was a collegiate wrestler, and from there,
your ears don't look like it, man.
No, I kept my headgear on. All them crazy people take their headgear, want to be macho. I kept mine on. I said one day, I might have to find me a wife. I got to be able to talk about.
Absolutely, man.
But yeah, so I went through college. I was a vice president of student government as well. So I got into student government when I was in college. That was a big plus. Wound up working for Bank of America after college. Became a marketing manager essentially for Bank of America for a few years, and was always an entrepreneur on the side. I think I was a side hustle guy way back before it was popular. So I owned a valet parking company while I worked at Bank of America, and I owned a company directly across the street from where I worked at the bank. And my boss was cool with it. She was like, "Look, as long as you do what you're supposed to do over here, go ahead and handle your business." So she could see me out her window working. And then
while you was on the clock?
No, off the clock. So
okay. I was about to say, bro, I ain't that type of boss.
Yeah. At nighttime, I would valet kind of like in the evenings, probably stopping around midnight, 1 a.m. But yeah, and then it just went on from there. So from there, I got into the party promotion, of course, and also I owned a nightclub in Virginia Beach for a couple of years as well. All right, and then when the nightclub closed, I moved back home and bumped into this young lady wanting to get my network for this MLM company. You know what I'm saying?
That's how she said it.
So I was already familiar with the company. I actually had signed up but never took it serious probably about 2 years before. because I had the
Oh, wow.
nightclub and it wasn't fast enough for me. And the business went fast enough for me. So when she mentioned it, I was like, if you can make it work, let's do it. And wound up doing well with the company. Obviously, as you guys know, did pretty well with the company, and had to come on, make my own name. And she didn't give me anything. She wouldn't hand me thousands of reps. So here you go, you're just rich now. I had to grind it from the first rep out.
What?
She ain't giving. I'm talking about nothing. You understand me? Nothing.
Wow.
Ain't get no points,
Okay.
no
All
reps,
right. We a little bit more alike than I thought.
Yeah. So grinded it out, and then started to always think to myself, I wanted to follow some of my passions as well. I think MLM, network marketing, direct sales is great. Was a great money maker, but you look up at the end of the day and realize you don't own it. All right, and not that owning it is everything, but if they're not going in the direction you want to go in, then what? Right. So my passion has always been marketing since my days at Bank of America all the way through. So now I own a marketing agency. Right now, I'm focused a lot on video, but we're full service agency, and it's doing really well. So I'm doing video marketing. We're getting into some copyright and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff going on right now, and it's going good. But when we ran into each other in 2011, she ran in my DM. Okay.
Ran
down in the DM for sure. So she DM. Actually,
but y'all knew each other before this, though, right?
She was my girlfriend in middle school.
Oh.
Yeah, she was my girlfriend when we were 12. And then we went to separate high schools, colleges, and led different lives. So I didn't see her after middle school ever again. But we had mutual friends. So that's how the Facebook thing happened. You can find somebody through their mutual friends. She found out I was a party promoter. Said, "Oh, he'd be a good target for."
Let me get that list about you.
I was looking at his pictures. I was like, "Oh, he cute."
Now the truth comes out.
She wanted the list, Kurt, but
I'm both.
Here's the funniest part. Listen, so we go out, right? So we meet up, she's peeking me. Remember that, right?
Yeah.
We're at Panera Bread.
So we go to Panera Bread, and she looked at my page. I looked at her page too, right? She's like living this crazy lifestyle. I'm like, that's the girl I went to middle school with? Like, what is she doing? I was like, man, I hope it's legal. That's all I kept thinking to myself. It was more than I had seen before. From a female, to be honest with you, because I was in a party promotion, I've seen a lot of, I've been around a lot of celebrities, but as far as like just a entrepreneur female, I hadn't seen it before, right? So I'm like, okay, let me see what you got going on. I wore a suit, right? I wore my best suit to Panera Bread. She come in jeans, she come in jeans and a t-shirt, right? Listen, I didn't even know how she was going to pitch it. I was ready to sign up. Like, I didn't see what did all that. Let's go. We making money. Like, you got all that stuff. Where do I sign? Right? Let me get going. And then at the end of the conversation, she said, "So when we going on another date?" I was like, "Date? This was a date?" But
she be having a lot of dates.
The wildest part is I didn't know that she was divorced when we met. So I didn't know. So I'm keeping this thing strictly PG because she's married, right?
You brought your A game, huh?
Yeah. I thought I known
he had his iPad out. He was like,
it was strictly business. I was like, but we talked and caught up for a while, and then through the conversation, I found out she was single, and I'm like, okay, all right. Okay. And I know this is love and business, but we're gonna talk about love. She was skin and bones when she was in middle school, and she had the years have been good to her. So I was like, oh,
found some hips, huh?
I said, whoa. I looked around and said, wait a minute, she wasn't built like that back in the day. I said,
hey, I
that beans and rice didn't miss her. I'm telling you.
You was winning across the board this day, right?
Hey.
And here we are, 4 kids later.
How long have you been married?
Almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years. And been really doing business together
the whole
from
time.
The jump.
Literally.
From before we were even dating, we were, it was a business encounter to begin with. So, I took it serious. I already had envisioned the business side of things, and the relationship thing came second. I know a lot of times it's reversed, but that's what it was.
So let me ask this, just kind of transition a little bit. I kept wanting to call you James St. Patrick when you were talking about the club, but I didn't.
He the ghost.
Yeah.
But this ain't that, bro.
Yeah,
he was doing legal stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna switch just a little bit here. So when you guys met, both of you guys are kind of on your own deal, right? So when it came to you guys dating and really making it official, talk a little bit about, I guess, the process of blending those visions, right? What did that look like to create? You had your vision, Kurt, Tashina, you had your vision, and you guys were both on your own trajectory to success and both successful, right? So it's like two stars meeting and creating a supernova. What did that look like for you guys? Was it like, hey, show me your balance sheet, show me your balance sheet, mine is bigger, mine better, so let's go this direction. Well, I'm saying that funny, but yeah, what did it look like?
I remember I had a conversation with a mentor of mine.
Did we do some?
I think so.
No, we still
spotlight on you now.
Okay. I remember I had a conversation with a mentor of mine at the time when we first started dating, and I was really concerned about him not doing well in the business. I knew my personality, I knew who I was as a person, and I knew I would not do well if someone couldn't hold their own, if they couldn't do it themselves. And so I talked to my mentor, and I was like, well, I don't know if I want to, I really like this guy. If I invite him into the business and then he doesn't succeed, that's going to mess up the entire relationship. And, he gave me really good advice. Obviously, I decided to we decided him to show him the business, and then we started doing business together. And I remember, and then he, we're laughing about it now, but it was really important for me to not give him anything. And to I was really hard on him. I was probably harder on him than I was anybody else.
Yeah.
Because I felt like how do I know if we're going to make it if he can't make it in what I'm in? And if we're doing it together and he can't make it, then how are we gonna make it? So it was a hard decision, I think, because I was afraid of what the odds were of him making it. Most people don't make it. And I was dang, if he doesn't do well, which most people don't, this is not going to end well. And I like him. Luckily, he was able to hold his own. He was able to, and it wound up just fitting really well together. I felt like we were really good together, but we were just as good separate.
Absolutely.
And that's what made our connection relationship-wise really well, because I think that we have very similar energies and very similar values and things that we want. We're both passionate. We're both trying to go after, but at the same time, we realize the importance of relationships and family and children. And so I think our core values are very similar, but our passions and aggressiveness is also a match for us.
Yeah, that's now that you kind of gave light into that, I assumed that maybe one of you had the person the passive type personality, and then the other one had hey, I'm gonna go get it type of personality. But now that you said that, it's nah, both of y'all really just hey, we going and get it. And I'm just curious to see, because Lamorne and I are exact opposites. Hey, I can go after it for as long as we need to go after it. I can run the marathons, but Lamorne will knock it out of the park if we got sprints. But he's after this sprint, it's let me chill for a minute. So I'm wondering, with you two, especially since you have very similar personality types, what does that look like, right? In the world of love and business together, right? Are there points and times when you bump heads because you have these similar personalities? And if so, how do you navigate through that?
We do.
we bump heads like crazy.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing, not funny, but the most interesting part for me was I had never been with anybody who was alpha female, if you will, right? And
Yeah.
I'd always been the man, right? I was making all the money.
You still a man, Kurt.
I mean, I'm still a man, you know, but I just felt like
But you got a woman now.
this the first time,
Yeah, amen.
that you know, it was all about me, and not just financially, but everything revolved around me. When you're a party promoter and you're a nightclub owner, I was the man. It was like, hey, you're gonna go with me. It's my plan, my vision. We go with that.
Yeah.
But when we got into Five Links, what I didn't tell you is that I had just moved from Virginia Beach, where the nightclub was, to Baltimore, and then we eventually, of course, moved in together when we got right when we got married. But I wasn't looking to get back into the nightclubs. I was desperately looking for something else. The nightclub was something I just wasn't. It was never my dream. I was just good at it, if that makes sense to you, right? It was something I just didn't. I don't even drink. Like, you know, everybody knows, if you know me well, I don't even drink. So to be around alcoholics all day, it just wasn't my, you know, it was fun in my 20s, but in my 30s, it was old. It was just like, man, but the money was good, right? I was like, man, if I could find something I can make that or better, I would do it. So when I saw what she was doing, I said, okay, I'll listen to your plan, because it looks like it's working for you, and it's worked not just for her, for so many people around her. So I did listen. But so when it comes to the how do we do it, for that we listen to a plan. But now we definitely have times when we really butt heads. But luckily for her, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah, man. I think, look, I think that's important. You know, to be able to recognize the superpower that you have as a husband, right? And what you know, the gifts that your wife, you know, possess, right? Because Crystal, you know, some guys will be like, hey, nah, you know, we ain't doing that, right? And I'll be honest, our first real, how can I say it? Network marketing or multi-level marketing or Five Links was the first time that we really saw the possibility, right? And I know that they're just from us being in network marketing and things like that, a lot of times husband and wives have a lot of friction, right? I'm sure you guys have encountered where one party wants something different, wants to go about it and get in and get going, but the other party doesn't, right? And I'm sure it's like that in many relationships, just in business in general, right? One person has a vision and the other person just can't see it, or they think that it's frou-frou or something like that, right? So it's an anomaly for you guys to both, you know, hey, I have a vision, I'm working towards something, and to be able to respect the lane that you guys are in, right? And keep pressing toward the mark, and then blend that together and keep pressing even harder. But Kurt, go ahead.
Well, I wanted, since you touched on that, I think a lot of times we do get, you know, these questions where, you know, maybe the full couple isn't in business, right? It's one or it's the other. And I know you guys have experienced it, you know, on a whole nother level. Yeah. Because you built teams of, you know, thousands of people. And so if you could maybe speak to, you know, some of the listeners that don't necessarily have the full on support of one of the other spouses, like how were you able to help, you know, one of them kind of press forward and keep going in the direction of business, even though they didn't necessarily have the full on support of the spouse?
Yeah. And I actually, even out of, you know, not in network, but I was just doing that today with a buddy of mine who he's in network marketing, and he has another business. He has two businesses, but his wife wants him just to focus on his day job. Right. And we talk about that. And what we spoke about today was just how you communicate the vision to each other. Because you know, sometimes what the spouse sees is just you leaving the house, right? So let's start rolling in before everything. All they see is you're gone and your patterns are changing, right? But I spoke to him today more about, look, this is what this has the potential to do for our family. This is why I want to do this. This is why I need your support in doing this. And this is the goal of what it would look like if we are successful, or when we are successful and if we work together. So we did a fair amount of communicating things like that to our teams and to, you know, people across the industry. But it's that like that for us. Like we got to say, okay, well, what is the value in this? Why do we need to do it? And you know, we do work pretty well together. She is gifted at stressing me all the way out. Right? I mean, she stresses me out the way Picasso painted paintings. You understand what I'm saying? It's not just some, you know, C-level stress, but she knows how to get results for herself and make sure that she knows that I know her weaknesses and things that she's not good at. So she puts
stop there, bro. How do you, so how are you communicating that, right? Because this is what I find sometimes. I find sometimes that I go into straight coaching mode, right?
Mhm.
So instead of wife mode,
I might well put on a helmet and
like,
some shoulder pads.
I'm hitting coach mode over here. I'm like, no, you need to do, you know, because so he's primarily at the State Farm office most of the time, right? He is, hey, I'm your friendly neighbor over here at Lemoyne Robinson State Farm. Like that's what he's doing. But sometimes he'll come home and kind of, you know, express some, you know, maybe some team member issues or, you know, some customer issues or whatever. And I immediately go to boom, 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 boom. Like I'm fixing it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to know, like, how are you guys in that dynamic when one, you know, or the other needs, you need the business owner and not the spouse?
I think, well, he does a really good job of like, I feel like maybe we both do a really good job of like, let's say for instance, if like I want to go into coach mode and hey, you gotta do this and this, but maybe that he just ain't feeling that right now. He just need to tell me like how his day was. I feel like we can pick up on each other's like, not right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need that right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, okay, well, how was it? Like, you know, you just goes, right? Because you know you're frustrating them. You can see it on their face. Like, they don't need that right now. That's not what they need. They just need like an ear at the moment. And I think that I feel like we do a good job of like, if I see that this is not what you want to hear right now, you're not trying to hear whatever I have to say in that, you know, in that area. Yeah. I'll pick up on it and I'll just be like, all right.
And from a straight business standpoint, I really feel like we kind of fit together like a puzzle, right? Yeah. So every day, I could name any day, there's something that she sees and she wants to accomplish, but there's an aspect of it that she doesn't feel she's the best at.
Yeah.
And she calls me up. My office is downstairs, right? And she called, you know, come here. And I know what the call is about. It's I'm on this journey and something ain't working, right? Yeah. So come fix it, right? Mm. It is not a time for me to make an excuse to say this ain't my journey, this ain't my job, this ain't this. It's like just get it fixed. But
absolutely,
I find joy in it. So sometimes I find myself, you know, she's a financial coach. I am not, right? But I find myself knowing quite a bit just so I can make sure I'm available when she needs support in that aspect, right? So
that's good.
And it might not just be that, but technical stuff, video stuff, marketing stuff, like things that I'm good at. She knows that we can really do together. But when I need her, I have to let her know a little bit different. Right. So when I need her,
say more, please.
I'm like, listen, this right now is about me getting this off the ground.
Yeah.
And I need you right this second. Because what she will have the tendency to do is, you see the word behind you, she will dominate the space and I don't say something, right?
You did that today.
I'm gonna take that language, Kurt. I'm gonna take that language.
So today I have 2 big deliverables, right? One of them I'm not even finished yet. So but I'm almost finished, right? And she comes up and she says, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, this. And I said, wait a minute, that's going to require some thought. And this is not I can just go online, figure out the answer in 5 minutes, right? This is a 2, 3, 4 hour, maybe a whole day for us figuring this thing out. I can't do it right now. And she looked at me and was like, all right. You know what I'm saying? But,
You did just dedicate like 2 or 3 days
but
to helping me.
yeah, but Monday and Tuesday, I literally pushed everything off my calendar. When I say everything off my calendar. Legit rescheduled meetings. I can't come to this. I can't do this. Everything off my calendar to be working probably 16, 18 hours a day to make sure that she has everything right for the launch of her book. And then all the details of that, right? But
Okay.
that's what it takes sometimes, right? You know, you got to go and jump in there and grind with each other.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful for the time we had in network marketing, because I know when it's time to go get that bag, we can go get it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I think that thing there, it builds a level of grit and grind. I think my personal opinion is everybody should try it at least once.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out what you made of 100% in or at least what you need to work on if you can,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, if you could jump in there and figure
Yeah.
that thing out. Man, book. So you just dropped a nugget. We want to know what's the book about? You know what I'm saying? When is it coming out? You
Well,
know?
can we get it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I just released it. Was that yesterday?
she wanted to release it on Valentine's.
Day.
So
Okay, cool.
this deadline was self-imposed. But she
Yeah,
could have
as-
chose
as-
not
as-
to
yeah,
stress me
as-
out.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could have taken a week to do what I did in 2 days, or probably it would have taken me 2 weeks at my normal pace. But she said we can do it in 2 days, and so the book is out. Tell them all about the book, Tashina.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
It's called 10 Steps to Freedom. I feel like in my journey of learning about money, making money, the biggest thing that I neglected was the management of it. And so when we had a huge transition within our company with ownership and just like really concerned about like the future of the company, it almost sent me into somewhat of shock. And it caused me to do exactly what I did to have success, to make money. It caused me to have that exact reaction to how do wealthy people manage their money. And so every book, every course, every seminar, you know, asking every wealthy person that I knew, our neighbors, other people, I went into like this, well, what do you really do with money? How do you feel secure? How do you have this like complete financial stability? Because I know I had made millions of dollars and I did not feel like I was financially stable.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So we're always sometimes on this journey of making money, but we're never really like taking as much energy and time to manage it. And when I understood what should have happened, how I should have did things, and I realized none of my wealthy friends are doing this. Like none of my wealthy friends understand this. None of them, and when I say wealthy, I mean like counterparts, right? But when I talk to people who don't look like me, who live in our community, because we're the only Black people in our community. So when I talk to them, they're all doing it. They all have everything set up. They're all like, you know, set. But there were so many people who look like me that were making money, but they don't have a will. They don't have life insurance. They don't have their retirement account set up. You know, they didn't understand like the importance of it. And so I wanted to like, for me, I wanted to like get that information out. Like why our community, we need to focus just as much on management as we do on making.
Absolutely.
That's what the book is about. It's really about having that like secure like financial plan together where you can feel whole with your finances, because it's more than just making money.
Hey, that is certainly a gap in the that needs to be filled, right? Especially in our community. And Kim wants to
they want to know where can they purchase
the
the book?
Yeah, so if you go to my social media, Tashina Anderson, you gotta make sure you don't put like any dashes or anything in it, because there's so many fake accounts
right
in my name. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah, we have it at the bottom. The Instagram and Facebook is at the bottom, and then the website is at the bottom. Is it on the Freedom Chasers?
It's not on my Freedom Chasers website, but it's on my Instagram.
Okay, so yeah, go to her Instagram page and get the book. Yep.
Yeah.
Now you said a whole
A whole
bunch
lot,
in
yeah.
there that I'm sure we probably need to dissect at least a little bit, because we feel the same way. It's like I don't I'm thinking, Tashina, I know you're first generation wealthy in your family, right?
Mhm.
Kurt, same for you.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're from the hood. My
Yeah.
bad. I don't know how I forgot.
Could have been hood rich. He was hood
No,
rich.
no,
He was
no,
hood
don't
rich.
get it messed up. His mother was a dentist and his dad was a lawyer. It was like the
Okay, you don't count,
No,
bro. No.
Kurt don't count.
So,
No.
I mean,
Kurt don't count.
he lived
Yeah.
in the hood, but
all right, let's
No.
let me tell the whole
He
story.
visited his
No.
parents.
So
come
the
on
whole-
now,
the whole-
you had a mom and dad that you had a
the whole-
mom who was a dentist who had her own practice,
Can we
Yeah,
can
nah,
I tell the whole
Kurt.
story?
You
The whole
disqualified,
story-
bro. You
and his
disqualified.
dad is a politician and an attorney.
All right. So here's the whole story. The whole story is my mom was in dental school most of my childhood. And when she started her company, her dental practice, I was only 12, right? And it didn't really start making money until I was already gone. Right.
So you didn't get to feel
None
the
of that,
richness
right?
of that. You know what I'm
And
saying?
then,
Okay.
of course, my parents weren't together, right? So my dad was a politician, but a lot of people think politicians make money. My dad never made six figures as a politician, right?
I
So
see.
he wasn't rich, right? But like I
Yeah.
said, I never complained about growing up. All right. You know, I only look
Yeah.
at Baltimore and the news and stuff now. I think it wasn't until The Wire came out where people's like, oh, Baltimore's rough. It was fun to me. And I didn't want to stay there. Okay. I wanted to
Of
get out.
course not.
but yeah.
Huh. Kurt, all right, we'll put you in the first generation wealthy if that's what you want to
Yeah.
do. But we really trying to figure out is now, that you guys are in this space, and clearly, in writing this book, you're trying to go back, and reach and teach, right? But like in the beginning stages of that, like you touching these millions of dollars, and to the outside world, that okay, you're a wealthy person, right? But it's really, one of my coaches, she always says it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you can keep.
Absolutely.
And so if that is the case, like what was this light bulb for you? Like what was this moment that made you sit down and realize, hey, I need to do something different? And what was maybe, a actionable step that you took, right, in that direction? I'm thinking some of it was probably eliminating debt, but maybe you can, kind of speak to that. Like what was your baby step for, some of these people that need to know that information?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happened was that the owners of our company had gotten into like big trouble, and we thought that the company was going to close down. And
Yeah.
so I had worked at this time, it was like over a decade, and I had made millions of dollars, and I built the network. I had did everything I felt right. I had been good to people. I had helped people. I had built other millionaires, and it was someone else's decisions that was affecting my business. So I had gotten like a call saying that we were getting ready to close down, and they had said we were going to close down by the weekend.
Wow.
And this was from like line. It was like, oh, we're closing down by the weekend. So
Wow.
And all your coins attached to somebody else's situation.
Right. And so it was like complete shock. It was shock. And I think the first thing I did was it was like I just took a complete assessment over my finances. So instead of me ignoring them like I would typically do, I wrote everything down. I remember going back over the last 3 months of my finances, writing down everything that I was spending money on, like writing down all my debts, writing down I remember I wrote down 12 questions of things that I don't understand, but I need to know. I need to understand how my credit score, how does a credit score work? I know my credit is messed up, but I need to get my credit fixed. I know I need to have some kind of retirement. And these were these questions in my head. And I had a retirement account that somebody had set up for me, but I didn't even understand or know how it worked.
How it was working. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, I need to understand this. I need to understand how that works. I know I should be preparing for my kids' college, but I need to figure out how does that actually work? So I just wrote down all these questions. And then every single month I gave myself an opportunity to research, read books, find out how it worked, look into it, Google it, YouTube it, ask questions. How does somebody else do it? Go onto the websites, look it up. And one by one, I started getting the answers to everything financially through the process. And then what would happen is I would go to other wealthy people that did not look like me, and I would I would knock on doors in my community and I would say things like, hey, I know you guys might know who we are, but I just have a quick question. I'm really big on like being financially like prepared for the future. And I'm trying to teach a lot of people that I know. Can you give me any advice or tips? Like I pulled the complete like Black girl, like I don't know.
Yeah, like I just
Can you help me? Can you help me out? They were like, when I tell you, they loved it. Like they loved having the conversations with me. They loved sharing their information. They were very like helpful. And most people would be afraid, but because of network marketing, that was like the least of my fear, right?
Absolutely.
So knocking on somebody's door, asking a question that I need the answer to, okay, where do I go? And that's what I did. I went and I found every answer to every question that I had until I had no more questions.
Wow. You know what? So first of all, this is like super cool that you even are like the way that you explain that, because a lot of times when we get people that are in like these very beginning stages, typically the excuse is, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to, and I'm sitting here listening to you saying, you guys have already collected millions, in business, right?
Yeah, you're right.
And then you still go and knock on a door to get an answer to a question, which then debunks all of the foolishness that everybody comes with and says, well, I don't know because of X. First of all, we live in the time of Google and YouTube. You can get a PhD in both of those and be A-okay, right?
Absolutely.
So the excuses are completely out of the door. Then you go collect all of this information and now you put it in a book for people to actually, read this information so that they can't say that they don't know, right?
Right.
But just the thought of, that to me says there's no excuses, right? For what we don't know. If you want to get the information, you got to go after it, and it also debunks the myth to say that just because you do make a lot of money that you know it all, right? Yeah. For us anyway, I think we did a lot of things, I think, similar to what you guys did, in that we just started and we just kept going, until we just, figured out something different. People ask us all the time, how did you guys get with Amazon? I say, I applied, and it seems very simple, but I applied with the intention that they were going to accept me as a business partner. You went to those doors knocking to get the information with the intention of them giving it to you. And it's not rocket science. There is no, I hope people see how simple this is, right? I'm sure this is going to be a New York best time seller, all this good stuff, right? Like, just because you went and got the information, anybody could have, did what you did, but most people don't. And I'm like, I hope people that's watching this will get this. Like, it's just that simple. If you want the information, you got to go out there and get it. I applaud you for it, for that time. And just making it seem, so simple for people to understand, because they always, I'm sure you guys get similar conversations, but people always come to us like we're some type of superheroes. And I always say that we're not. Like, we just don't quit. we just don't give up. It don't. So now, 5 businesses later, it looks like we wear capes, but we don't. You know what I'm saying? We, right before this podcast, we told our kids, y'all better be quiet, because we you know what I'm saying? we have regular people conversations up in here.
Absolutely.
And so I want people to get that. Like, I want people to see that literally God is no respecter of persons. If you want to go out here and get this, get money, you want to get a business, you want to have a successful relationship, is yours to have, but you got to do the work. Kurt just mentioned he stayed up for 2 days, seemed like, to help you with this situation.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a combination of, yes, going after things from a, like, I'm going to Google it, I'm going to YouTube it. But it's also a combination for me, I'll say for me, is that you have to go to also people, because you have to get experiences. You have to get their like point of view of it, right? And when I look at both times that I've had success in my own financial business and in the industry of network marketing, like when it came to network marketing, you have mentors that kind of like give you information for free, right? You just come to them, they give you answers. But when you're kind of like in the real world and you're out doing business, you got to pay to play. So if you want the answer to something, a lot of time it's either a book, it's in a course, it's at a seminar, it's somewhere like that where you have to pay. And what I do all the time, Kurt will tell you this, honey, I will buy a course. I will buy a book. I will buy a seminar. And if you look at my financial statement, I always tell people, like, if I look at your financial statement and I don't see any money that you invest in yourself,
Come
it's
on.
That's
a
a big-
reflection
yeah.
of why you're not getting like really ahead, because you don't have the answers. And if you don't have the answers, then go get them. Pay for them.
Absolutely.
Pay for them from the person that has them.
Absolutely.
I see
And-
some
and-
people on here taking action, man.
Yeah.
This is so cool. There's a lot of people in the chat now saying that they've purchased the book already. So they clearly they getting this information and understanding that what you're saying is real talk. I'm
And
sorry.
no, I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. So you got to, you have to pay for access sometime.
Mhm.
You have to pay, in Kurt's world or old world, for VIP, right?
Yeah.
So, but I think that is important. Like you said, if you're looking at someone's financial statement, you can tell what, really what's important to them,
Mhm.
right? And a lot of times, especially in communities, one, I want to applaud you for your transparency. Thank you for being transparent, because a lot of times people think just because you make millions or you have money that you have all the answers, and that's not necessarily the case. It's levels to it, and you continue to grow and learn as you go. But being able to really being able to be transparent and put that out on the table to say, well, look, hey, there's a transition. You guys had to pivot.
Mhm.
Right. And not only did you guys have to pivot as individuals, you guys had to pivot as a couple, because you guys were in the same, boat
Nucleus,
with
yeah.
two different teams. But when you pivoted one, to the financial services side of things, while Kurt pivoted to the marketing side of things, which again, that takes a different level of tenacity to one start. Now you guys are doing all these meetings together at one point. Y'all doing these meetings together. Everything is on the same page. And then you're like, hey, well, this is, I think this is my sweet spot. This is my sweet spot. Right.
Mhm.
So I definitely applaud you guys for that, and continuing to grow and continuing that legacy, because a lot of times a lot of people just fold and quit.
Yeah, a crash and burn type of situation.
Or it'll take a toll on their marriage, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
So not being able to communicate that, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, your fears, your excitement, so
Mhm.
whatever it may be, that can be detrimental. So I applaud you guys for being able to do that and overcome that.
Yeah.
It was like, because it was a transition of, there was a transition of, is this still working for us? Because the company didn't fold, right?
Mhm.
But it didn't work the way it worked before. And so
Mhm.
there was this transition of, does this still work for us? And I think that we had so many conversations in our home of, well, I felt one way, he felt another way, but it never got to the point where it was like, you can't feel the way that you feel.
Yeah.
It was like the respect of, okay, but this is how I want to handle it. And this was how he wanted to handle it. And we both respected like how each other felt in the moment.
That's so good.
And how we transitioned. I don't think it was like a simple transition, because there was the transition. I remember you were like really into like working people out and trying like what would you call that? Like
Online training.
like an online training business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And because and this is important, because you just mentioned this before, how like sometimes couples aren't supportive of one another. I
Mhm.
feel like no matter what we decided, what we wanted to try after the industry of direct sales, we were both supportive. So I was like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, I really believe that either one of us could do whatever we wanted. We both have like these, I always say like these God-given gifts, right?
Mhm.
Is physically gifted. Like he was born to look this way. Okay.
Mhm.
All right, keep it. All right. We get the point. All right.
Okay, I don't have those same physical gifts that he has, right? And so if he wanted to go in that direction, I think that it makes sense, because it's a part
Yeah.
of his
Mhm.
gift, right? So we talked about it. He started it, but he wasn't really feeling it. And I was extremely supportive. And then, I'm looking at, okay, well, what are my gifts? What did God give me? And that's really where we kind of like started when we wanted to start over. Like, what are our gifts?
Mhm.
What are the gifts that we just naturally have? And for me, not only did I'm naturally like a teacher, a coach, I'm naturally that way, but I felt like I had been blessed with the aha moments of finance. Like God blessed me with this experience so that I can tell and that I can help and that I can teach. And I felt in my soul, I used to tell him this all the time, because he was always like, my baby was like, you need to be a motivational speaker. You know, Kristen, you told me that. Right?
Yes.
Like, no, let me tell you.
I even came to hear you speak, even when I wasn't in the company. I was like, oh, Tashina coming, I'm going.
Yeah,
I don't care what she's talking about.
Her was like, no, you need to be a motivational speaker. So he was really big in pushing me into that direction. But I had felt like it was just heavy on me that God wanted me to help people with finances. Like, that's what he wants me to do. It's not sexy. It doesn't feel like it is even what people are interested in. Like, it doesn't even feel that way, but it feels like it's what I'm supposed to do. And I kept saying that, like, I can't explain it to you, but I just feel like this is what he's telling me I'm supposed to do. And even though he thought I should go in the other direction, he was still supportive of the direction I wanted to go in.
Yeah,
I think that's really important when you're a couple, is to not make somebody do something, or not even like if they want to do something and you don't want them to do it. That's not your job to tell them what they can or cannot do. It's your job to be supportive.
Absolutely.
That's your job. Like, you're supposed to be the supportive person to their dreams. And so that's what we try to do, is always like support each other, no matter what. Like, no matter if you think this is the good thing or not, this is the thing you want to do, I support you.
Yeah, no, hey, that is like, that's huge. That's everything, right? And I think one of the bigger key components to that, or that may have helped with that transition, is that you guys both saw each other work, and your work ethic prior to the calamity, or prior to the potential for something catastrophic happening, and you guys having to pivot. So it wasn't like, hey, you got to come with me because I know you ain't gonna do the work on your own, right? And I think that's what happens a lot of times in marriages and just relationships and business partnerships in general. Somebody's not consistent, right? Somebody is not doing the work on their part, or one of the partners feel like, hey, I'm the one that has to tote the load all the time. So if I'm gonna put the family on my back, then I'm putting it on my back. We're not splitting it half and half, right? So I think that that's super important, because I think that was something that was built over time. As you guys formed that relationship, you were able to see the success, but also the work ethic and the consistency in it. So, hey, I know if you want to do the fitness thing, you're gonna give it your best shot. But if you're just not feeling it as a person, then you don't have to do that. But I know you're not gonna get in it and just quit, or just be halfway in. You're gonna be all the way in. And I'm sure he felt the same way. So I think that that's super important, because a lot of relationships probably reach their demise before because of a lack of that.
I would agree. Man, that was a lot. These people in this chat is like, somebody said, let me go tell my husband I'm sorry. They said thank you for freeing him over here. Hey, that's exactly what this whole deal about love and business is about. Is really, about exposing some of the things that we think are just us, right?
Absolutely.
Or just you, or no, it's like we all experience some of the same things. It's just we go out and we get the information, right? Just like Tashina said, we go out and we read the book, or we go to the seminar. Like for me, professional development and education, that's like an employee on our P&Ls over here. Like we are investing, left and right in coaches and what you got?
None. It just, a lot of times people get into huge arguments because somebody wants to spend money on training or coaching, but they never do anything with it, right? They spend the $597 and then they miss 3 of the courses, and it's 5 courses. It's a 5-week course, and then you miss 3, but you keep saying this is what you want to do, right? You gotta be consistent, right? You gotta be consistent. If the family, if you guys have a family vision, and that's, if it's building toward that vision, then hey, we got to stick with it. Right.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be consistent with that. And I think that that's what makes it a lot easier, because the first time Crystal told me that she wanted to, you know, like, hey, I think it was like $8,000 or something.
Yeah,
And I was like,
$8,000.
we had just got
program.
into the agency. You know, I was making a little bit of money. We were making a little bit of money. And I was like, $8,000. Okay. But, you know, I believed in her, right? I was like, hey, if anybody go win, she go win. You know, you know, type deal, right? We go learn something, and but a lot of times it's not that way. So I think
that coaching program changed our life. Though.
It did, and that's why now I'm not afraid to spend money on it. Like we spend more on that stuff than, you know. It's like life insurance and coaching. That's what
they up there. They up there on the top on the top of the list, the expense list. It's like, man, we pay a lot in insurance. Man, we paid a lot for coaching last year.
Her main platform is a financial coaching program. So that's her main platform. The book is you know, feeding into that. But what I've watched is people who I've introduced to it and friends that I've had see their life change because Tashina's teaching them what to do with their finances. And it's like teaching somebody confidence. Once you have it, it's not going anywhere, right?
You can't get rid of that thing, boy.
You can't get rid of it. Like what Kanye says, sustain it, don't wear off, right? and you know, for me, I love the fact of what she's doing, not just that she's my wife, but she's doing something I feel like is for the betterment of our people.
Absolutely.
And for me, that means, for me, in my mind, it triggers the thought, okay, let's be extra supportive of this, because you feel like you're leading people into a path that's going to set them up for generational success.
Right.
All right. And we throw around the term generational wealth, but if it's just passing down those tools, one of those generations is going to get it, right? And they're going to,
somebody
get it, right? So, so her course is, as much as the book is fire, right?
Yeah.
If the book is fire, the course is lava. Okay, this thing is crazy. So she is really
now. Can they go to the Chrissy? If we could get that, I think that's going to be on the website though, right?
The freedomchasersinc.com website. Yeah.
So
she's gonna put it back in the banner at the bottom.
And that's Love and Business. That's one of the things where when I see my wife go all in, you talk about spending $8,000. I think she probably spent a few $100,000. Right? Easy. $200,000.
Yes.
On courses. I've seen her go to financial conferences to learn from the gurus. And I'm like, you learn so much from the. I think you might be the guru now, right?
Exactly.
I ain't even joking. Like I'm like, how do you know this stuff?
Like I think you can ask me anything, and I know 99% of the answer to almost any financial question at this point.
It's to the point where my family members are calling up and saying, "Look, I'll just pay her just so I can ask her stuff."
That's it.
But so the course is definitely valuable in itself, but I guess the bigger point I'm getting at is that when you see your spouse doing something that not only they love, but it's helping people, you got to play the support role, and you got to play the support role as well as they're playing as they're doing their role and we're driving that part of the business, right? So there's no second tier. You got to go all in with it. So I'm just, whenever she's like that, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I know she'll understand the technical side of this. It's like I'm like the magic wand. It's like
she don't know it take 8 hours to do that, right?
I'm like, you want to do what?
And I expect him to do it in 1 hour. Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't expect him to do it 8 hours. I remember the day of the book.
It's 8 hours for everybody else. For me,
I kept saying, like, what's taking you so long? What are you doing? Are you down there playing around? Come on, you have to get this done. And he was looking at me like, are you kidding me?
Like I literally had only took breaks for water in the bathroom. Like it was like nothing else. Like I'm grinding, and I'm like, what does she think? Are you serious? You think
it don't make it better that she coming down to the dungeon down in the basement to tell you this, right? Like she coming.
Then she talked about because the book came out on Valentine's Day. Then she talked about, well, what are we gonna do for Valentine's Day? I'm asleep. I was like,
we didn't finish until like what, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
We didn't finish until like 5 o'clock. Everything was done by 5 o'clock. And then I was like, okay, all right. So
she's all happy. I'm like about to pass out and die. Like, I'm like,
Bro, yeah.
So the
Nah,
night before-
but that's real support though, man.
Yeah,
It really is.
Yeah. So it was everything is worth it, especially when you're grinding. The hard parts shape you to know, okay, next time I do this will be easier. Because now we can write books. She actually has a master class on ebooks, right? Just because everybody needs another stream of income. And a lot of times people aren't skilled at certain things. So we got to teach them, right? We got to be the ones to teach people how to make some money sometimes. Like, saving it and investing it. You got to make it first.
Yeah, you got to have a machine for a little while. You're pumping that thing out.
Right. So she's very, so all that, I believe even that part is, you'll get that as, when you click on the book, you'll get prompted to get the ebooks course as well. So you can get that as well when you get the book. But we grow through things together. I love every minute of it. I don't really feel like there's a need for me to draw a line and say, all right, we're doing relationship stuff. We just always just know how to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have like office hours where I'm your business partner.
Right.
I know she don't have office hours for you, but it's whenever.
Every day, all day.
Right.
We don't really have a separation of relationship and business. And I think like if we're at dinner, we don't mind talking business. So
that's the same.
If it's in the
we
conversation,
just said that on another episode, man.
we don't care.
It ain't
doesn't
that deep
bother
where I
us.
can't talk about stuff that I know is about to push our family forward.
Absolutely.
Right. And there's times I want to say, look, I'm a LeBron James fan. I want to watch LeBron hit the record tonight. You know what I'm saying? I want, all right, give me a few minutes just to all right, now let's get back to it, right? But I'm not a big TV person like that, but when I do, I do want to see certain, you got to live a little, right? But
absolutely.
Yeah. So that is very important. But, and we're not like we know, I think,
how do you, because that was a question that you had mentioned, because you're really, really good at like pausing for affection, pausing to like say, all right, but we're still married. Like, you're really good at that. You're better than me. Like, he's really good at like just pausing in the moment.
That's good.
And even if we're like running around and so many things are happening, he'll pause in the moment and just be like, give me a kiss, or some kind of like affection.
Yeah.
Within the day, like a pause in the day for affection.
And I think that's important, right? Because that lets you know that it's like, hey, we business partners. But we still get it in, Hey, I still want you to know, you still got it, girl.
We can't be roommates.
I remember the line that Barack Obama said. He was like, "She's this type of attorney. She's this, she's that." He said, "But have you seen my wife?" You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got all this. Y'all looking at some of the stuff that I ain't thinking about that right now. You know what I'm saying? It's nice to have, and I'm glad she is. But have you looked over there? That's my gosh, almighty, right?
But it's like when you both are on a mission to build a legacy, right? To see the vision through. It occupies your space, right? It occupies it. It's like we're in that our own little nucleus, so to speak, right? So it's like, we don't mind talking about it. And honestly, as we've continued to grow and develop and take part in self-development courses and things like that, and just continue our journey, we've run into other couples that are the same way. Now in our college circle, which is not the same, it's like, hey, they may not understand it. Why, it's Mardi Gras in New Orleans, right?
We could care less.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what I'm thinking? Like, how can I sell them a T-shirt?
You know what I'm saying? Because you in spending mode right now. I'm trying to think of something we can figure out. You know what I'm saying? What we can do.
Hey, how do you think they make money off of that right there? Like, that's the kind of conversation you be in the midst of fun and you be like, how do you think they make money off of that little concept right there?
That's why I don't go to the clubs anymore. I don't go to the clubs anymore because I'm counting money. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's about what 10 VIP sold. I know they charge us
Yeah.
about 100. So like, yeah.
You can't even enjoy the experience.
I'm not having any fun whatsoever. I'm just calculating like, oh yeah, it's about 600 people in here. They probably paying $30 a pop.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not happy, but I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should get another club. Well, maybe I should do this. Maybe I'm not. They like, yo, this is my song. I'm like, I don't care about your song.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think what happens over time, man, is that we've just trained our eye to see opportunity, you know,
Yeah.
and that comes from, being in a position of always wanting to learn. Like I always say, I stay in a posture of learning, right? Like I always want to figure out if there's something new that I can digest. Because once I get it in me, it's coming out some kind of way, you know. And so people really need.
Isn't that beautiful
is.
that God gives you the ability to feel something, to think something, to have emotions around something, and you can literally think something and bring it to life. Like you can literally think, this is what I feel on the inside, and I can bring it to life. Like that's the beauty of where He has positioned us as people, is that He allows that. So don't ever think that you can't. He gives it to all of us. Like He puts it inside of you. Like when I tell him, when he was creating his marketing agency, I'm like, yo, you're so good at this, right? Like we all have something. I'm like, you're so good at this. You're naturally good at it. I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience to do it. This is your gift. And you can literally have a gift, feel it, know it, think it, and say, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to make money from my gift, my thoughts, my feelings. And that's what He gives to each and every single one of us. Some of us will go through with it. And then others will be like, you know what, but maybe somebody else's is better, or maybe I don't have all the information, or maybe I don't know. You don't know. You're right. You don't.
You don't. Absolutely. You don't know.
But you won't figure it out. You can figure it out. Like,
and another thing is to make sure that when you are chasing whatever dream it is, not to compare, right? Not to
absolutely.
Me being in the promotion and party promoting it, I know amazing videographers, right? I mean, high level. I know guys who work with Pharrell, Lil Wayne, all these people, right? And I'm not intimidated because I know that what God put in me was to help small businesses create content and commercials that help bring in revenue, right? Because I know how to make money, right? And I never was, I was never scared that, I'm not as talented as these guys, or I can't hire the right talent. My thing was, I know how to make money. So what I'm going to produce is going to make money for you. I'm not claiming that I'm going to win an Oscar for what I'm doing.
Right.
But I'm claiming that your bottom line is going to go up when you work with me.
Right.
And that was where I never worried about comparison. I never worried about, am I doing the right thing? I knew two things I was good at: marketing and making money. And if I can teach you that, then, if I can help your business with that, then that's where you do it. So the main thing is, like, once you have that vision, put your blinders on, stay focused, and just go after what what really what God is telling you to do. So the business.
Absolutely. I think it's super important, and you guys can talk to it. I think I can have one more question, but I think you may have answered it, and that's really for those business owners that are just starting. How do you protect the vision? Right. You create this vision, and then a lot of times, like you said, you kind of get the wandering eye, and you're looking at somebody else's success or whatever it may be. And you're like, oh man, maybe we should do it like this or do it like that. But so how do you protect the vision from naysayers? Like, you guys probably don't have this problem anymore. I'm sure you guys probably did, leaving biology, leaving the school or leaving corporate America, and then going into MLM, and somebody said that's not gonna work, that's not gonna but how do you guys protect the vision of the family, or what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs of how to protect the vision of the family and continue to move forward?
Well, you have to know in your mind that entrepreneurship is what you were put here to do for your family out to the world. So if you start comparing and start looking other places, you have to ask yourself, are you following God's plan? right? Because
Mhm.
you keep quitting, you're never going to get anywhere. If you keep comparing, you're never going to get anywhere. I knew for sure people more talented than me got, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of equipment. I'm starting with a smaller, I'm starting from scratch, right? I'm starting learning these things out, right? But what you have to understand is that God put us here for this. So if he put me here for it, he's going to help me figure this thing out.
Absolutely.
And I was looking and I was just saying to myself, man, if I can just stay focused on this, if Tashina can stay focused on this, our kids will look up and remember what we did. And they'll tell their friends what we did. And then they'll be encouraged to do it as well. So now I got what God's telling me to do. Then I got the legacy that my kids are watching, right?
Cool.
And then, so from that perspective, I don't have time to be comparing and saying what somebody else is doing when I'm so focused. And another piece to that is schedule your success. If my schedule and my calendar is full, I ain't got time I literally don't have the time to worry about what somebody else is doing. I just don't have the time. Like when we get off this podcast and this live, I gotta go back to work. Right? I got stuff I got to do. I got deliverables for tomorrow night. I'm trying to impress my clients by have it done tonight instead of tomorrow night. They don't even need it for like another 3 weeks. I'm starting to impress them. You gotta think about these things as an entrepreneur. And if you are so booked and focused on your vision, you really won't have time. And just know that once you get it, once that vision hits you, it's God sent and it's time to go. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I have something I want to share on that. I always say, like, I'm never really worried about what other people say. I'm more concerned about like how I feel and what my inner gut is saying. I always say, like, follow your gut, right? So I remember when we were transitioning and looking for our next business venture and what we were going to get into, one of the things I did was I went and got my real estate license. And I had my license from before, years ago. And I remember it was like really hard. I was like, oh my God, this is like being in school again, right? I was like, oh, this is hard. I get the license. I was so happy when I passed the test. And then I started going to the classes at the office. And then I tried like a few showings. And I remember coming home one day, I was like, I hate this. This is not what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't about like outside people. Like I wasn't worried about whether someone said, "Oh, well, you went from this to that," or "What are you doing?" Or no, I never concerned. My concern was what does it say in the inside? Am I happy? Is this where I'm supposed to be? Like, and like it's an inner feeling that you know that. If I say I don't want to do this anymore, it doesn't feel like I'm quitting. It feels like I'm not going in the right direction.
That's good.
I have to pivot till I find my right direction. And the only way to find your right direction is to try things. That's the only way to figure it out, is you got to try things. Like, you got a whole bunch of gifts, but if you don't know how to use the gifts or where you're best used with those gifts, then you got to try different things out. And it's in the trying and then the doing that you find your place, your home, the center, what feels like, oh, this makes sense to me. This feels good to me.
Yeah.
And anytime things start to not feel good,
pivot.
And you know what? I pivot. Okay. I don't care. It's not for you or anybody else to say whether you think I'm doing a lot of things or you think that I shouldn't be. It's not for you to say it. It's for me to say it and for me to have the feeling of, am I going in the right direction? And I will go in any direction I want to go as long as I want to go, as long as I feel like that's where I'm supposed to be. And you don't have to ask anybody. You will know. Your husband doesn't know. Your mama don't know. Your sister don't know. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now y'all see why I said she's supposed to be a motivational speaker. Listen.
Wow. Here's the wild thing. This, the reason why I'm so serious about supporting her course is because she does this all day long with people.
I'm about to sign up, bro. Send me the link, guys.
Listen,
I don't even know what's in there, but I'm in there.
I gotta come in the office and make sure she got water. She won't get up. I'm like, no, you got to slow down. I'm like, you got food? Do you have water? Like, she's just motivating, and she's so into the results that people get. Like, she wears it when she leaves the office. I'm like, listen,
I am. I'm
I'm
really like, if you don't get the results, like it makes me feel bad. Like, because I will show up. I show up 100%. I'm on time. I have the answers. You got a question, I have the answer. You need something, I have the answer. So I'm giving 100% of myself at all times. And if you don't give 100%, I feel like, well, you just paid me.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
don't you want 100% of me? Like, why didn't you show up? I'll have people who pay and don't show up.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, look, you're giving people, I don't care what the price is, you're giving them more value than you're getting paid, right?
Absolutely.
You're giving them, I mean, you're just pouring into people. But
I mean, this is darn free. Listen,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to start. Matter of fact, we're gonna have to take this down and charge for the replay. Like, I'm just saying, like, this is so many nuggets in here. Like, I'm trying to read the comments. You know what I'm saying? Kurt coming here with the, scales of your success, and then she coming here with the 1-2 punch and knock you out behind that. It was so much in there that I want to dissect. Like, this is crazy. First of all, we're gonna have to have a second conversation because we didn't even get to talk about like the family dynamic and all this stuff, but it was so much meat in what both of y'all just say it, man. Like, just that knowing piece. Like, I think that a lot of people are missing that like you just said that you're not quitting. You're just you're going to where you're supposed to be at. Right. And a lot of people really do feel like, oh, if I don't succeed at this one, right, then it's a quit. No, it's a learn. And now we're pivoting and going towards the direction that we're supposed to be in. And we do that, all the time. And I think you were just able to verbalize like what we do on a daily basis. Like in 2018, we do the Amazon business. Yeah. 2019, we start real estate and we start a trucking company. Well, I'm thinking we about to have a fleet of, 10, 18 wheelers, right? We not. Because in 2020, we shut that down. Right. and we sold a truck, but it was a learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a loss. But once we got into it, we didn't have that feeling or that knowing, right? We was like, it was gone. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay, it's cool. We ain't lose. We learned. Sold the truck, got my coins back, let's move on to the next, right? And so we opened up the automotive shop in 2021 that's doing well, but we're learning, right, as we go. But I still have a good feeling about that, right? But if at any time that I don't, I'm now not an unsuccessful automotive shop owner. I just learned a whole lot of stuff in that industry, and we gonna keep on pivoting until we know that we know, right? And most people aren't going to that next level to say, okay, I'm gonna figure that out. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna figure that out. There was so much meat in that thing, man.
It really is, and a lot of people get stuck in it because they feel like even when you have success, but then it doesn't feel right. Like Kurt was saying, hey, I'm making money in the club, but it ain't really where I want to be, right?
I felt that.
Like, you imagine making 35 grand a weekend cash money in my pocket. Literally.
Hold on, wait, that didn't feel right? I'm just asking for a friend.
Hold on, what'd you say, James?
For a friend?
What'd you say, James?
Asking for a friend. 35,000 on the weekend didn't feel quite right.
It never felt right. It never. In my mind, I was thinking to myself from the start. I didn't think like I want to quit. I was thinking I got to get somebody else to run all these and let me just invest and get away, so I don't have to be in here, right?
I got you.
Okay. Obviously, got other plans. My main nightclub got bought out by the city so they could widen the road. So that kind of pushed me to the direction where I wanted to go anyway. But there's days where I wish I still had that 35 grand cash. Well, I also know that I would never have found my wife or even gotten married at all to anybody in that nightclub environment. It just wasn't.
That's good.
And see, that's the thing. When you stay in a place too long, even if it is fruitful to the outside world, right? Because a lot of people are chasing money versus chasing purpose. Right. So it when it looks fruitful to the outside world, you got the nice car, the nice watch, and the nice rings and things like that, or the nice house, then you feel compelled if you're not influenced by your inner man. right?
Yeah.
If you're influenced by the outside world, then you feel compelled to stay in that vein, even though that's not what you like. That's why people go to medical school, they in school 8 years and get out and they're like, man, I hate being a doctor.
But they a doctor for 30 years though.
Exactly. You know, so
that happened to me. I mean, I didn't make it all the way to medical school, but I remember my first 3 years of college, I spent as a cellular molecular biology and genetics major. And I remember I was like working for the USDA, and I was working at like doing cell culture work. And I remember driving into work that day. I was in the parking lot and I just started like crying. And I called my mom and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And she was like, why? What's wrong? I was like, I don't want to be a doctor. I don't like this. Like, I remember that day I didn't go into work. Like, I literally called out, never went back, wound up quitting, changed my major, changed my focus right then and there.
Wow. Yeah.
But you know what? I think if people have that level of quit, right, for the right reasons, more people will be operating in purpose. And I think that's what we've always been about. Like, I had a similar story. Like, I thought I was going to pharmacy school, thought I wanted to be a pharmacist. Some people seem to be living some miserable lives out there in them pharmacies. But I'm like, I'm a major in chemistry. I'm gonna do this. And I knew my junior year in college, I wasn't supposed to be doing this. But I'm like, look, I'm gonna get this degree. Like, we gonna finish this, you know. But I did it. And as soon as I told Lamorne, I went to go take the test for pharmacy school. And I'm in there. It's supposed to be like a 4-5 hour test. I get in there, I put my name on that paper, and I just started singing a little song, A, B, C, D, A, B, C. Like, I just wrote out, I just filled out the stuff and paid hundreds of dollars to take this test. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. Like, I just knew in that moment, this is not for me. I turned I think I got points for my name, and that was about it. Because I didn't even look back to see like what I scored on that test. I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm not doing this.
But let me tell you this too, because there has been times in my life, you do have to have discernment to know the difference between what you quit and what just feels hard. Because there have been times that I remember being in business and I was in maybe like the third level of the company. And I was like, maybe I should quit. Maybe I should go back to real estate, because I was actually making money at the time. But I was like, this feels hard and I'm not getting what I thought I should get out of it. Like, I thought I was going to be having, you know, at the time I was like, I thought I should be having $20,000 months, and I was only making maybe about $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Right. But I had an expectation of at least $20,000. And I remember the conversation I had with myself that day, and I was like, maybe I should just quit. And then I was asking myself, like, are you quitting because like you don't really feel like it's for you? Or are you just quitting because it's just hard? You don't think that you're going to actually do it. And there's like a different feeling from, I'm in something, it's hard, should I quit? Because I'm not getting what I want.
Yeah.
And there's a difference from, I feel this is not for me.
Yeah.
There's two different.
That's worth y'all signing up for this program. Absolutely. Look, Chrissy, put it back. That right there.
Yeah.
Y'all supposed to be on her website selling out the program. Is all I'm saying.
And I'm glad I didn't quit that time, because it wasn't for me. It was about, it's too hard. Yeah. It's just too hard. Well, I stay, and then like 30 days later, I remember I hit the next level in the company. And I remember my income went from like $5,000 to $10,000 a month to $25,000 a month. It went from that. And then I went from 25 to 40, and then 40 to 60. And it kept going up and up and up, because I just didn't give up, because I really never felt like I should quit. I just felt like it's hard, and maybe I don't want to do it because it's hard. Right. So and we all have those feelings. Like, even aggressive people, even business people that have success have moments of doubt that they feel like they want to quit too. Like, they have those feelings too, but you just have to have discernment to know the difference between what you should quit and what is just not for you.
Absolutely. No, that's phenomenal.
Oh my goodness. So I know we've been we've been on almost an hour and a half. Technically, we're supposed to be on here an hour.
Yeah, I feel like we just got warmed up.
And I'm like,
I'm just listening for the fire trucks and the kids burn down the house and
No, we got to. They good, okay. You know what? They not gonna say a word because 8:30 is their bedtime. So as long as we don't come get them, they get to watch as many movies as they want to. on our end, I don't know about y'all side.
No, they up there having a ball. Trust me, they're having a good time without interference from the
man, I don't even know how to end this conversation, like, because there is so many nuggets in here that we could dissect. Even like when we had this moment here that we laughing when she talked about, you know, if you set your mind to something, you know, you can have it. So, like, or if you just think a thing. So here's two moments. I'm gonna have to share these two moments.
Yeah, these are true.
And then we're gonna have to figure out a date that we can get you guys back because we have to keep talking. So here's one moment. The first moment is when God gave me the idea that we were supposed to be doing this whole love and business thing. The first thing he instructed me to do, he said, I want you to reach out to at least 4 couples that have inspired you in business. Like that was the first podcast the first 4 podcasts we had to do at least. So that's why you guys are here. But you're here because as I had this thought and I start typing out the couples in my phone, I said, man, I really would like to talk to Kurt and Tashina. I said, oh man, they got a lot going on. So I wouldn't type you guys' name. Same day, less than 20 minutes after that thought, Tashina sends me an inbox message on Instagram. Hey, what you doing? We need to... I almost lost my so all I gotta do is think in this thing.
That's all you gotta do.
Let me think about something else.
Girl.
I'm in the middle of something and she called me. She's super excited. At first she's just loud. I'm like, hold on, what's good? Hold on, talk to me now.
That's divine intervention, honey. That's God working his magic.
Yeah, I said, absolutely. This is wild. But anyway, so that happened. So of course we, you know what I'm saying, we scheduled the podcast.
You know, I'm always stuff like that. Like I'm always telling him how, like, I'm like, babe, I just prayed for something and oh my gosh, you will not believe what happened to me today. Like those things like that, it shows me that like life is a lot different than what you really think. Because the fact that you can think something and then like things just start to magically appear and happen is showing you how God works. And if you have faith and you just take steps, he'll show you, like he'll start revealing the next step. He'll reveal the next step and the next step, because that's how like life works.
Yeah.
I mean, but before we were formed in the womb, he knew us, right? And so we're getting to see what has already happened. And I think that it's so amazing to have those moments. It's almost like out of body experiences for me. But I just I feel like I do have that thing that she talked about, where when I say a thing, I believe that thing, right? Like it don't look, it's gonna happen. So here's the second experience. Now rewind 10 years in the past, right? We at this thing, and at this event, I think this is when Eric Thomas was in New Jersey or something like this. Like they had like a outside event thing or whatever, where ET came and he spoke. Thomas Felder had him come. You know, I think, and you guys were there.
They went to college together.
Yes. So they were getting ready to start the event. You guys, this is a blur. You're not gonna remember this, but we standing outside
talking to John Jones.
Y'all breeze by, right? And I said, "Oh, hey, Tashina, do you mind if we take a picture real quick?" Tashina says, "Not right now. They're about to start the event." I say, "Okay, cool." I turned to Lamar and I said, "The next time we take a picture together, she gonna ask me to take a picture with her." I kid you not. This wasn't the Eric Thomas thing. This was when they were announcing the high five challenge thing, I think. And you had, because you had on an orange and gray outfit, and you were getting ready to do like a keynote talk. That's when this was. Yeah. So that's when we was in Miami, standing out talking to that's when we was talking to John now. So you go on the stage, you do this, I'm talking about amazing talk, right? I say 2 things. Huh?
It was called Your Pace or Mine.
Yes.
I remember it.
So the motivational speaker, Kurt, okay? Yeah. So I'm listening to this talk. I I tell him this when we standing outside the building. At the same time, though, I also say, I'm gonna win that challenge.
And you won that thing.
You won it too.
Won that thing,
It
baby.
wasn't even close. It was like, yeah, she won it. I was like, yeah.
Look, but
We
in
all
that
had like
moment,
people, we had people on our teams who we wanted, who thought, oh, they did real good. They're gonna win. And I was like, nope, she won.
but what was so amazing about the moment is that I said two specific things, but I knew that I knew. I don't, and I think it's super important that people like really, believe the power of their words, because I won that event. The next event that we were at, Tashina walks up and says, "Hey, you're the one that won the challenge. Come take a picture with me."
Yeah.
Wow.
I was right there with the camera.
Lamont's mouth was so wide open. He was like, "How did you do that?"
Right.
I said, "Bro, I just know what I know." But
I remember you winning that, and I remember how impressed I was. And what you don't see is what it meant to us that you had that type of change.
Yeah, that was
because
crazy.
I knew, I know physically I can work out like a dog, and I got the discipline to lose some weight, right? I wrestle. Okay, it's all about weight loss, right? So you want somebody losing weight, that ain't a thing for me, right? But when I saw you do it, when I saw other people do it, I was like, "Oh, we about to be rich."
Not like y'all owe me some residuals. Is that what y'all said?
I was like, we about to come up now. It's working. I mean, think about all the things in network marketing and all these other companies that have claims, but we don't really know if they work.
Right.
Yes,
So seeing things work, it's like, oh my gosh. I was like, I felt like, man, we were overdue. I said, we needed one. We needed one that was going to work.
But your results were incredible.
Yeah.
They were incredible.
Yeah, that was good. That was great. That was great.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's just amazing how full circle that is.
Absolutely.
That I'm motivated by what she's saying on this stage, and I'm like, it don't matter what it takes. I'm gonna win that thing. I'm gonna be on that stage, man. And it's just so wild, like to see all of that, come to pass. But like everything that you guys said, it just makes so much sense. And I hope that whoever's on here, you share it, you watch the replay, you eat this information, digest it and eat it again,
and then do something with it.
And do something
right, because you could have a want to all day.
Yeah.
But if you don't put anything to action, you're not going to do anything. So
absolutely
sign up for the course, invest in yourself, and put the work in. Put the work in to do and be what it is. When you have that feeling that we were just talking about, that Tashina mentioned, now you have to do something about it.
Right.
It's not enough to just feel it. Now you got to focus on the path to do something about it.
Absolutely.
And I know you got a lot of business owners on here too. So I just want to let people know that I'll be traveling the country doing commercials and content for small business owners. So definitely it's simple website. It's AndersonMedia.com. So it's AndersonMedia.com.
I think she's putting it in the chat for us, and Chrissy will get it in here. And so what we're also going to do is share all of that information on our Love and Business Facebook page as well, to make sure we get it to everybody. We're gonna put it. You see it, Chrissy, in the chat.
All over. So don't worry about where you are, because I'm going to Seattle pretty soon to shoot. I got stuff in North Carolina coming up. I got stuff in Florida. So we're rolling.
You all over, man.
Yeah, I'm all over, and I'm developing a team too. So I got some help.
Absolutely.
I got a little help.
That team situation is a game changer. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But listen. I'm not sure where we are in this, but definitely before
I feel like I was able to stretch my motivational.
I want to say thank you. It was good for me to see her. You know what I'm saying? Flexing on one time. It was like LeBron to remind everybody he still got it.
Not the flex.
But
he's trying to get you out there, man. He's trying to get you.
Oh my gosh! Do you understand?
Just put this in your. Me as the promoter, her as the speaker. Listen, we running the table. We running the table.
Come on, man. That's what I'm saying, right? Listen.
Listen,
I can run a 2-man for you. Let me be the opener. You know what I'm saying? She can close, but let me open. That's all I'm saying.
We just got to figure out who gonna come watch these kids. We come on the road all the time.
Hey, we just gonna put a nanny on staff for all our kids.
it.
That's all.
telling
Man, this has been
Absolutely.
amazing.
Amazing.
I'm telling you, we got to talk again because I know like you guys are a wealth of knowledge. You got way more in there. We was only able to pull out, I'm talking about not even 10%,
Absolutely.
and so we definitely got to have another conversation, but
And if this inspired you guys that's listening, please like and share. Hit the
Absolutely.
give us some hearts. Let's
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
and share, because this can change the game for a lot of people.
Yeah, and our goal and objective, is to build a community, of like minds, so we can have these types of conversations way more often where we're spreading this type of information, this type of, wisdom, inside of our community so that people don't start from scratch like we did. They don't have to, bump their heads as many times as we did, in their challenges or their learns can be a little bit less along the way. We want to accelerate people through love and business and not necessarily start you off from scratch. I don't care about sharing the numbers. I don't care about being transparent. I don't care about, teaching what we've, 15 years of marriage.
Yeah.
At this point, we've had some ups and downs and some sideways and, all of that good stuff. And so the goal and objective here is to help people to start from a good space and keep that going, right?
Mhm.
And so, long term, we'll be building a community, of other, couples that are in love and business, doing retreats, just long term building good relationships, right? That we can continue to foster these types of conversations to make sure that people are going in the right direction. So this was, unbelievable. I am like so sad that we got to go at some point, but Chrissy will probably start texting me if I don't. So I'm gonna let y'all go, but I just want to say thank you so much, not just for today, but for your journey before today that helped us to get, to where we are. We truly appreciate you guys, for just paving the way and letting us see that it was actually possible to do what we actually do today.
Yeah.
You guys were examples for us. And like we've said previously, we've learned how to copy and paste well. And so that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? We see what other people are doing and we hit the copy paste button, and we tweak what we need to for, what works for us. And I'm hoping that everybody else, as we say this every week, copy paste, Kurt and Tashina have told you a lot of good stuff. Copy and paste it until you figure out what works well for you. But in the meantime, please do follow them on social media.
Absolutely.
It's in the chat. It's on the banner. Make sure you go and get her book. Make sure then you go and sign up for her program because you can have some information, but until you apply it, I can guarantee you're not gonna get no different results. So go out there and get the stuff. We're gonna put it on our Facebook page as well, and we want to say thank you once again. We appreciate you guys.
Thanks for your time.
And good night.
All right, thanks for having us, y'all. Take
Thank
care.
you.
All right.
Yeah.